Hey guys, this is HTOMario, and I'm going to be showing you another Terran against Terran game. In my inbox, I've received a lot of questions about how you handle Terran against Terran, Mech against Bio, and it seems to be a hot point for a lot of Terrans right now. I've done a lot of Zerg videos and a lot of Protoss videos, I feel, so this is going to be another Terran one, and then I'll return to the other races for a bit, I think. So, in this specific game, we see that, I do send my supply depot at the top because it's a huge ramp. I want to be able to see on that side of the base what's going on, but I will be producing my units on the bottom. The factory right next to me, but the other units on the left side of it. So the reason why I build the barracks close to me, is because if the enemy attacks, and I have to defend a small space, no matter what the race is, you'll always want to be able to get the most out of what you're protecting. So your mineral line, your command center, and your at least one gas, and your infrastructure. That's one reason why I like to build closer to my base and then move out with it instead of building a bit far away and then moving in. So I put a supply depot on the bottom left, same reason as always, I'm getting my reactor. Oh, the reason would be to scout for drops or buildings flying in, trying to make widow mines or harass. So in this game we saw nothing out of the ordinary. Everything seems normal on the side, but so we throw down a command center before we throw down a factory. We've got reactor marines placing around the map, or I'm placing it around the ramp to make sure that we can stop Reapers. And then we place our factory. After the factory, you usually want to drop a starport or a gas. It depends on what you want to go to. You want to go like heavy gas units, you drop the gas first, and if you want to go like really light, like Marine Hellion, you drop the gas. The starport. So I see a Hellion, and I'm moving over the add-ons to start producing Hellions and a tech lab. This allows me to get the tech lab on my starport in case there are cloaked Banshees going on.
Your forces are under attack.
I see a Banshee flying over with a barracks that I was building over to the left side. I was doing this so I could fly it in and scout out exactly what was going on, and I'm glad I did. I'm waiting to intercept the Banshee, but I scout out his base and I realized, you know what, this is probably a very aggressive stance. You don't have an expansion. What you're doing here is, you're producing Banshee. This is basically a 1-1-1 with an extra barracks so you can produce extra Marines, which means that I am ahead economically. Not at the moment. I'm a SCV behind because it's just finished, but I will be ahead. I have mules, so that puts me ahead in that perspective. Once I see the Banshee, you will notice that I'm now floating energy for scans, and I have an engineering bay just in case he gets cloaked. Now I'm not 100% sure he's not getting cloaked or he's not going to get cloaked, so we want to be extremely careful, or if he not already has it. Kind of luring him away until my Viking comes out, and once the Viking is out, he does have to retreat, and then I move back to the front of my ramp. So I start another factory because I want siege tanks. I'm expecting siege tanks from him as well. And I start another tech lab. On my starport, and this allows me to start producing a Raven, just in case he gets click. And it's also a pretty good Hunter-Seeker missile against siege tanks, helps break positions. So he does end up losing this Banshee, but he has a lot of units coming up, so I decide I have to break this right away before the contain gets too bad, so I send my SCVs with my units and I land my Viking. I know this isn't all in, so if the game goes long enough, I will be ahead, normally, if it doesn't expand. So now at this stage of the game, he also brought along SCV, so I'm glad I brought some of mine. I am 5 workers behind, but I have an extra command center, so I'm producing more than he is. Let's put a bunker, just in case he tries to push up the ramp again. And he does try to drop on top of my tank, so I end siege, and I try to take it out with the reinforcements. And he does end up taking out that siege tank by the splash damage on the turret, auto turret. I'm floating a lot of money right now, and I have a lot of money income with my mules. So I've dropped down another 2 barracks. Even though I want to go mech, I really have to spend my resources without spending too much gas right now because I need to produce the crucial unit, the siege tank. I also need to get some units out or some medevacs out for my marines, just to make them slightly more effective, and then I can use them in the later stages for drops. Reminding me of drops being possible, I put up a turret ring, making sure that while I defend the front with a highly immobile but strong tank, he can't just drop into my base like I'm about to do. It's one of the only ways that he can get around my small but deadly army at the front. So he is out there, and I dropped 2 armories because I am still planning on going mech. I drop a bunker. I get my marines in the bunker. He does a bit of harass as I'm Viking over, but now I'm in his base, and I realize at this stage that he's expended. So I go ahead and lift out because this is turning into a macro game. I just wanted to scan to double check. But we are on close to the same worker count, so here I think I've put up a pretty decent turret ring for this stage of the game. I will add more in later stages of the game once there are more medevacs on the field. But for right now, what I'm going to do is just defend my expansion and then defend my base. I don't think a drop is going to come anytime soon, so I'm not leaving any units just yet.
Your forces are under attack.
I had the watchtower so I can see that he might be coming for a possible attack, so I'm really trying to push out as many units as I can over anything else now. I got another command center because this base is going to mine out soon, and I really want to get an expansion going down on the low ground. Of course, this would make it more difficult. Now I'm at a stage where my income can finally support more gas because I have my second base. So I dropped down 2 more factories, which takes 100 gas, and then slowly inch down the ramp in a way where I can attack little pieces of his army, and then be more than fine.
Add-on complete.
I lift up my units. I lost my armies earlier, so I'm remaking them. I lift up by the Banshee harass, I cancelled them because I thought I was going to kill him, but I lifted up my units in the medevacs to try to drop on top of him to do a bust, and I realized he moved out. So I'm going to take my base right here, siege up, unload, and then I put missile turrets in a watchtower by my second base, so I know if he's going, or I thought I put a watchtower, I will put a watchtower down soon, so I know if he's going for a drop. I saw a lot of medevacs, so I'm adding on a few more turrets. Sometimes you have to decide if you want more missile turrets or if you want more hellbats. And as a meching Terran, you can always go, you know what, I feel comfortable in the amount of units I have to defend the attack coming because I have siege tanks, so I'm going to drop down more turrets. And since I have so much gas, I start Raven energy and I start producing Ravens. This makes it so that any Marauder push coming in, I can just drop PDD and or Hunter Seeker missile on his tanks and help break positions. And then with the extra barracks I had, I fly them out to scout for looking across the map. And now that I think, okay, Doom Drop might come, I'm on 3 bases. I leave 2 siege tanks in my main and 2 hellbats. I also move my units up slightly in a better siege position to make sure that he can't get can't catch me out of position and just fly right into my second base. And I do have a watchtower up now, kind of guarding the outside of my third, so it watches close to my second so I can see if he runs down, and it watches any entrance to my third. Using the barracks, I saw that he also has a third base, but I'm not too concerned with that. I just decide, I'm gonna send the medevac over with the marines that I no longer need. His are becoming stronger and stronger, and mine are becoming more and more useless. So for a drop to kind of force his attention away, maybe snipe some SUVs, I'm gonna trade these now almost useless units for me to, to inflict damage. I also produce a heavy turret ring around my 4th base. This is around the time where the gas is the most important and I can afford to flood minerals. Not afford to flood minerals, but afford to aggressively use minerals for hellbats or missile turrets or orbitals, planetaries, whatever I need to ensure that I have more gas. The more gas is probably one of the biggest things that you need as a mech Terran between the upgrades and so on. I was able to kill a few SUVs there, and I am 20 workers ahead. So with this giant missile turret ring, one of the proper ways to set this up is you have, if he flies in here, I have 4 missile turrets attacking it. If he flies in here, that is kind of the only breakthrough to my base. But a lot of people don't risk flying through here and then, just straight through, because it leaves you open to my Vikings. Currently they would be out of position though. So I have missile turrets all around the edges here, and then I stop once these are in range to attack as well. And I throw in down 2 extra missile turrets right in the middle section of the 4th base, and this allows the missile turret to really attack like this whole section just to help out in case he tries to fly through, and this whole section to help out in case he tries to fly through. So it's pretty well defended. We can see his army on the minimap, and I do want to show you that he loads a few units into medevacs and tries to fly them through. So this is an important part. This is why we have to get the missile turrets, because if you think about it, if he gets into the space, I have 1 siege tank, yeah, but it would make me extremely vulnerable because I'd have to move a lot of units out of here to defend this, and get back into siege position, and then he could attack up here while my tank army was weakened and just decimate it, and then gain my 3rd and my 4th, so it would be really difficult to handle. So another good thing about these is that if a medevac kills a dropship, it means that there are less units that you have to defend against, so it's less that you have to pull away from your army. And he does fly in, but because of the amount of missile turrets I have, he does lose every single medevac, and only 1 tank drops, which dropped him a huge supply count. Now back to the vision, I decided, I'm gonna have to move out soon. My 3-3 upgrades are almost done, so here's some things that I want to do. I have a little bit of a bank. I need to get some things up. First of all, my infrastructure is lacking. I need to get more infrastructure. I've been sacrificing it because I feel very safe against any type of attack, so I want to be able to reinforce my mech army quickly while I'm building a small little bank. So an extra starport and 3 or 4 more factories. Now I need to set in position some extra missile turrets in case the drop comes in. With the last cast that I told you about, it was what not to do. Here's what you do against a harassing player. So the missile turrets are going up, and I'm producing the command centers. Now I want to get rid of a few of the Hellions so that I can get more Ravens and more Vikings, so that, and if it turns into a base race, I will always win the air war, and I can trade energy for for his units. I also start to command centers at my 4th. That's my freshest minerals, and if I can delay him there any longer, it's already got a nice turret link. He has to go through the planetaries, so if I can delay him any longer there, it would be good, because it would take him longer to get to my infrastructure. It means I have more minerals out on the map after he's destroyed my infrastructure than him. So I had SUVs taken off. I have a lot of SUVs, so I'm going to take a bunch to auto repair. I have 2 medevacs for my Hellbats. Now I have a lot of repair for my siege tanks, my Vikings, and my whole army. He comes in, and I drop a PDD right away, because the Marauders are the deadliest thing to me, and the Vikings. So I drop another one, because his Vikings were trying to target down my Ravens, and I start my 2 planetaries, and I rally. I've also started building armor before I started to push out. So, that's almost done, so it makes my planetaries even more potent. And I'm producing siege tank with mine back at home to rally to the planetary that's close to my infrastructure, right here. So, if you look at it, if he decides to do a base race, he will take out this base pretty easily. But once he mates this base, he forces a wall of resistance with the armor too, because he can't just drop right in. He will lose a lot of units if he does, so he's delayed by these planetaries, who actually do a decent amount of damage. You have to really overpower them. Then there's another planetary over here, and he can't just drop right in, because I have a turret ring again, and my reinforcements are going to be all to this location, which means that this planetary is heavily defended, and my infrastructure is relatively safe unless he drops like here, tries to push up, but he'll never be able to kill this section. And then over here again, another turret ring, and then 2 planetary fortresses on the way. So this is really defended.
Upgrade complete.
So moving across the map, I have to be careful, but not as careful because I have so many ravens. And he moves into, he decides to go for the attack and sends everything. But with how effective my army is and how strong it is, he simply isn't able to break me. Like if we go a little bit back before the attack started, we can see that at this stage of the game we're maxed out completely. I don't know why this isn't forwarding, but okay. You can see that at this stage of the game we're maxed out completely, and or close to being maxed out, as is he. So we actually move out with less of an army than he has, and we have a lot more SCVs. So active forces, his army is actually incredibly stronger than ours, but his is bio. So that's the difference. That's the beautiful thing of Mech, is that your army will always be stronger, cost for cost, supply for supply. So, okay, at this stage of the game, we're gonna fast forward through it a little bit. He drops down almost 50 supply, while I'm barely affected. I'm still maxed out. I'm building a few units, but not nearly as many. And then here's 174, and then with my tanks firing, he drops down to 100 supply. So he actually dropped about 80-90 supply with a first few volleys of my siege tanks. His marauders isn't able to close the gap. I'm healing my my medevacs, my hellbats, and my siege tanks with SCVs, and my hellbats are getting healed by the medevac, so it delays even longer for the marine. And I have +3 armor on my mech, so it takes even longer to kill it by the marine. So it was just, I had a very resilient army, and I was making my way across to his base, and he didn't have much left anymore. He couldn't really reinforce his army because of the Hellion run-through that I did at this location and this location. We ended up killing 56 workers, so... Alright, that's it for this game, and I hope you enjoyed the in-depth of this. If you enjoy these, please remember to follow me and watch all my videos. That's the best way you can support me. And you can also watch me live stream my games. I do a lot more games, and I will do commentary a lot at twitchtv.com/HTOMario, and I usually do those around like 8 or 9 a.m. General Mountain Time, I believe is what it is. So thanks for watching, everybody.